Shinn Show, a Shinn Show, a Shinn Show, a Shinn Show. Welcome to a Shinn Show. And we're joined by brother Guy, daughter Sarah, son Nicholas, nephew Kyle. And Guy and Sarah are talking earlier, and Nick and Sarah have just returned from a cruise to the Caribbean. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Nick is Nick's going to Denver, is my understanding. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna leave on Tuesday and get there by Tuesday night.
Outstanding. And so, so Nick and Guy are gonna spend some quality time together, like uncle and son, or uncle and nephew.
Yes, it could be like uncle and son. I mean, I am still a son to somebody,
and he is still an uncle to you. So, and others,
many others.
Right. So let's get right into it and talk for a second about current events. And should we start? Actually, so much has happened this week. It's been an incredible week. Shall we start with the family stuff before we get to the other stuff?
Yeah, sure. Let's start with the family stuff. What's first? What's up on the menu?
I don't know if you know this, but your Uncle Jesse has passed away.
I did not know this.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah.
No.
Guy has more details on it than I do. Guy, you want to lay out the facts as you understand them?
I can do that. It's my understanding that he has passed away in Saipan, which is about 120 miles northeast of Guam in the North Pacific Ocean. It's actually a Commonwealth of the United States. And apparently he moved there because of the weather. And allegedly he had a stroke.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
That's what I know as of now.
Yeah, I heard he had a massive stroke on his way to Guam, apparently.
Well, shit, I didn't know he was living outside of the country.
Well, he's not
technically.
Last
I saw the guy who was in Hawaii, and then when I talked to you, you said he was possibly somewhere in Oklahoma. Yeah. And now we're hearing that he's closer to Guam. Was closer to Guam.
Yeah, that's all true. So, I don't know. Guy tells me he was living in Oklahoma for a while, right?
He was. He was actually living in near Aunt Cassie's old house that she owned in Enid, Oklahoma, which has been since condemned, as far as I know. There was no heat or electricity. So he decided he would go and live in Guam because allegedly the cost of living was cheap and the weather was nice.
Now, of course, as nobody may know, but Uncle Jesse, as many of our families have been, was deeply troubled by issues related to addiction for most of his adult life. And that probably contributed to his early demise just a month before his 65th birthday. But rest in peace, Jesse. And let me just say this. Anybody got any interesting stories? I have some great stories about Jesse.
I thought he was 63.
Really? I thought he was 64. But, he's still dying young, let's be honest.
Right.
I guess
I have no stories. The only story I ever had is when I saw him in Hawaii. We all went scuba diving, and my tooth fell out while we were scuba diving, so we had to get out of the water.
Yeah, that's right. I do recall that.
I'm pretty sure the last time I met Jesse, I was in diapers. So
yes, you were in diapers, and actually, so what happened was, so this is one of the stories. Jesse he came to Denver, and he had no place to stay. For some reason, he had done something to get himself ejected from Chris and Stella's house, Chris being our demised eldest brother. And so he asked if he could stay with me and your mother in our basement. And I said, well, sure, that'll be fine for a few days. And then what happened was you found one of the syringes your mother found one of the syringes that he and John were using to shoot one another up with. And they had this little yippy dog that bit you. And you may recall that. And anyway, that was the combination of the dog and the syringe were enough for me to tell him, hey, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And it was nothing personal.
I have numerous similar stories, but that I won't get into them. But I'm fascinated with the tooth thing. Why did you have to get out of the water? Because of sharks?
Yep, that's exactly why. I was bleeding out of my mouth, and the sharks, the alleged lurking sharks, could smell that from a mile away, and nobody wants to.
They think it's tasty.
Yeah, nobody wants to risk that. which I thought was a bummer. And also, I didn't even like the tooth just fell out of my mouth and it was just gone. Like, I don't know where it went. I didn't even know. I might have eaten it. I've done that before.
I have a very interesting story. I went to visit Jesse in Hawaii, and I said, I'd like to go swimming. And he goes, oh, sure, I'll take you to this fantastic spot. So he goes, oh, yeah, just hop right in right here, and you can swim out, no problem. So I just hopped right in, and I'm swimming around, splashing around in the ocean there, swimming, and I swim out of ways, and the next thing you know, I hear this bullhorn. Sir, you can't swim there. It's a very dangerous current. What are you doing? You're insane? So I swim back into shore, and I go, thanks a lot, Jesse. I thought I could swim here. And then I turn around and look at the sign, and the sign says, much like when I went to the Pentagon, it said, no photography. The sign said, no swimming here.
Well, I have a better story about Jesse, which is when I was 7 years old and Aunt Cassie was 6, he was a college student at Ohio State University, and he came up to where we were living at the time in Clayton, Michigan, and talked my mother and dad into taking Cassie and myself down to the campus of Ohio State to stay in this house with him and his buddies. And he took Cassie and I to the Ohio State Fair. And Cassie got so sick she threw up, but I thought it was the greatest experience in the world. There were like 6 of us in a VW Bug driving down there, and I don't even know how we got back. Must have been the same way. But that was a great time, great experience. And what I remember most clearly about it was how generous he was with his time. It was how generous he was with making us feel special. He was a good brother, but at the end of the day, man, addiction got him, just like it has so many of the members of our family.
True dat.
You know that's right. All right. Well, so much for Uncle Jesse.
May he troubled.
Yes.
Kyler, would you like to weigh in? You never actually met Uncle Jesse, but
yeah, so I have nothing to say.
Okay,
very good.
That's fair.
May he rest in peace, and moving on. So let's hear about the cruise, man.
Cruise was fun, Went to, what was it, Costa Maya, Belize, Honduras, and Cozumel, in that order.
Not in that order.
Cozumel was the last place.
Costa Maya was the first place.
That's what I said. Costa Maya, Belize,
okay. All right, maybe.
Honduras, and Cozumel. Hey, anyway.
All right,
so in Costa Maya, we went and looked at some ruins, some old Mayan ruins. Very cool, very fun. The guy there, our tour guide, Chachoban guy, our tour guide was very informative. Ugo. His name was Ugo.
Ugo Chachoban.
And he.
Let's hear it for Ugo Chachoban, by the way.
That is not his last name.
Yeah, Chachoban was the place.
Oh, I see.
Ugo was the
tour guide.
Hugo, or as they, in his native tongue, Ugo.
Yeah, in the patois
as
Ugo.
It were. Got it.
So yeah, that was cool. And then we went to Belize after that, right?
Mm-hmm. We went to the island owned by the cruise line just off the coast of Belize.
Yeah, we didn't actually go to Belize proper. I shouldn't say that. We went to a private island owned by the cruise line.
Right.
In around Belize, but
we got very sunburned that day. Yeah, it was a beach day.
Very sunburned.
Designed into your pockets, I'm sure.
Yes,
of course.
Well, you see, they had $20 daiquiris, and if you bought the big one, then you could get refills for only $10. Which is, of course, a steal.
You can't turn that down.
No,
bargain, twice the price.
Right.
Yeah,
undoubtedly.
So that's what we did there, and that was fun. And then we went to Honduras and played with monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, our fucking driver, took us to the other side of the island. It's a pretty small island, and we hung out with some monkeys. They was jumping all over our heads. Held a sloth.
Mm-hmm.
I almost smelled like goats. According to Sarah, I'm not really familiar on the whole goat stench, so I just took her word. I just thought it was wet sloth smell.
Right.
I mean, yes, but it is similar, surprisingly, to wet goat.
Fantastic.
Well, there you go. There's some
reasonable.
There's some trivia for you. All right. And Honduras was fun. I danced on a bar there.
Oh, I forgot about that. Because Nick lost his wallet.
Yeah, okay. I thought that I had got pickpocketed, and I was fucking pissed off, dude. I was like, well, there goes the whole rest of the cruise, because I had like $250 in there, my military ID, all this shit. So I was mad. And so I'm like, I'm going to go pout in my room while everyone else is, on shore. So I go in my room, and then I'm like, nah, this is bullshit. This is impossible. So I just tear that entire room apart. And then I find my wallet under the bed.
Oh.
So then I come down and go to the bar, and now I'm super happy. So
did some shots up on the bar, did some dancing.
Yeah, got a mojito. Walked up to the bar. This dude just poured tequila in my mouth and told me to come up onto the bar. So then I did, and it was a good time.
Sounds very sanitary.
Yeah, it was sanitary. And everything in Mexico is sanitary, especially the tap water.
Even better.
Oh yeah, Honduras. Excuse me.
Technically, you have to drink alcohol there because the water is not palatable.
Oh yeah, that's your only option. Even the bottled water's got a grit to it.
Well, that's great.
It's not potable water, so you have no choice but to drink alcohol the entire day.
There's no choice. Well, that's it. You're gonna die if you don't. You got to drink something.
We had some pretty good lobster.
Oh yeah, we had some cheap lobster. We had a plate of lobster. It was like 2 lobster tails and 2 plates of 10 chicken wings for like $40.
That sounds delicious.
And also like 5 beers.
Fantastic.
For like $40, you can't get that shit in the States.
No, you can't. That's wonderful.
And it was good lobster too.
And then don't forget the best part.
And then the best part, we went to Cozumel. We rode dune buggies through the jungle, and then they led us to the cenote, this cave underground that's got
water
in it. It's a system of caves, all kind of caves, but it comes up where we went, and there's water. It was a sulfur cave, so it smelled absolutely horrible, like eggs. There's a bunch of bats in there. It's the bat sulfur cave.
Query.
Yeah.
How much did the excursions cost? Were they extra?
Shit.
Yeah, they were extra.
That is the downside of the cruise, is that everything besides your room costs money.
Not true. There's food.
That's true.
All the food in the world you could eat for free.
Pool, like the stuff on the ship, for the most part, is free. They do like entertainment. There's on our ship there was water slides and a ropes course and mini golf, and a pool and a hot tub, and there's like endless ways to entertain yourself for free.
Dune buggies through the jungle.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That cost us $85 a person.
That's not bad.
That's not horrible, and it was a good time. It was my favorite thing that we did.
Yeah. Well, and he it wasn't just dune buggies through the jungle. It was like mudding through the jungle.
Yeah, they had it was all set up so that you had to get dirty. They gave you bandanas put over your face and shit.
It sounds a lot like real life Mario Kart.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's fun. Ooh, man. Well, it sounds like you guys had a great time.
We did.
We did. Gained a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Ate a lot of food.
I legit gained 10 pounds on a 7-day cruise.
I'm guessing I did too, dog. Like I made it a point to eat as much as I could.
To get money's worth.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's damn right.
Yeah, makes sense. Although I'll tell you, just genetically speaking, you both are subject to easy weight gain. Ask me how I know.
Because runs in the family. Runs in the Shinn family, that's for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. Transitioning back to my diet has been tough, but I have been losing weight steadily since we got back. So
well, fantastic. Well done. Because that's the other upside of your genetics, is that you are capable of losing weight quickly if indeed you count your calories. That's my experience. Let me tell you my experience just over the last 10 days. Last weekend, I gained 10 pounds. Last weekend.
What did you do?
I ate like it was a cure for obesity. But it turns out eating that much is a cure for weighing 155 pounds. So anyway, I put on 10 pounds over the weekend, actually from Saturday morning until Tuesday morning. So
you know what, dude? I'm just going to say you probably looked better with an extra 10 pounds on you.
Nonsense.
I'm telling you.
Nonsense, poopy pants.
That's right, exactly. But anyway, so in the last week, I've lost that 10 pounds. So easy come, easy go. But, it is a matter of discipline. Let's not talk about that. Great cruise. Well done. Glad you had a good time. Moving on to Nick, Guy. Sorry, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me today. Guy, any significant happenings in your life over the last week?
No.
Let me think. No.
Thank goodness.
Actually, that's not true. It snowed here. I did have 3 days off because of the death of my dearly departed brother.
Right.
And Kyler and I had to rescue one of our chickens yesterday. It actually flew into its feeder, and got its leg stuck in there. And that was quite a challenge getting the chicken out.
It sounds mighty traumatic. Really does. Sounds terrible.
How many chickens do you have?
4.
What kind are they?
There are buff Orpingtons.
Aww.
Yep.
We have chickens too.
We've named them appropriately. We've named them breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack.
So it's not just for the eggs then, it's for the eatings.
No, actually, after 6 months, they're not edible. And that's about when they start laying.
Yeah.
So you can either eat them at 6 months or you can have laying. But we got them so that we could have eggs. So
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna eat those for dinner.
no, right now they'd be chicken nuggets because they're not very big.
Yeah. So, Sarah, well, riddle me this. How are your chickens doing?
Not bad. They're drowning a little bit right now.
Do you have chickens?
Apparently, I do. I have 9 assorted chickens, only 2 of which are currently laying because they're bastards.
Oh man, are they back? They're obviously just backyard chickens, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Good. What kind do you have?
I have 3 Americanas, 2 barred rocks, maybe 3 barred rocks, some red ones. I don't know what they are. I'm kind of chicken adjacent. It's really more Murph's deal.
I see.
Oh, I see.
But,
Yeah.
Chicken adjacent.
I know that I buy stuff for the chickens, and I occasionally go throw food at it. So,
Well, that sounds easy enough.
Yeah.
For fresh eggs. Now, let me ask you this. I've heard that the fresh eggs are much better than the store-bought eggs. Is that your opinion?
I like them better. I think that they aren't as I think the yolks are better. I don't know. They're not as runny. I just kind of, how do I say this? I know what they're being fed, and I know they're being fed well, and the eggs just seem better. But
Gotcha.
that could all be opinion. I
I
don't know.
see. So this could be
a
egg
placebo type deal.
Exactly. Egg placebo effect. That's what I was thinking. You know.
I do know.
I have. This reminds me of an interesting story. When I was a child, Pete probably remember this.
Yeah.
My father one time took me to an ostrich farm in George Bible Park near Montpelier, Ohio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he bought ostrich eggs.
I do
Were
recall
they the
this.
size of your head?
They were pretty good sized. I think 1 or 2 of them are equivalent. One of them's equivalent to about a dozen chicken eggs.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
recall this.
So, since we had a large family, you could feed quite a number of us with 1 or 2 eggs.
I do
Scramble
recall that,
up.
but I don't remember eating them.
I was just gonna ask what the taste was like. I don't like eggs either way, so it's not.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, makes sense.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's all ostriches are anyway, right? Big chickens.
Giant chickens.
More or
But
less.
my father was actually, your grandfather was actually quite fond of that sort of thing. And he would also take us to apple. One of his favorite tricks was to go to the apple orchard and make a deal with the guy and say, hey, can we pick as many apples as we can for $5 or whatever? And then he'd let 20 kids out of the car, and everybody would
Clown car.
That's a true story for sure. Yes, indeed.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, a lot of tricks to try and feed us. That's for sure. But
I went to the apple orchard this weekend.
you did.
Oh yeah, you said you got me. Murph said you got me cider.
I did get you some cider.
Excellent.
And now you're talking about the Nebraska City apple orchard? No.
Technically, yes. Well, no. Actually, technically, I stopped at the Union Orchard and then the orchard in Waubonsie State Park, neither of which are located in Nebraska City.
But
out of Nebraska
they're
City.
toward Nebraska City.
Yeah.
Actually, though, neither one of those places is a place where you can get those kick-ass apple donuts, is it? Or is Union?
No, actually, yes. Union Orchard has the best apple donuts.
Oh
That's
my
why I
God, are
stopped
they
there.
good? And did you get any of those said apple donuts?
Hell yes. Actually, no. I thought that I bought the apple donuts. It turns out I bought pumpkin donuts.
Oh my God.
They tricked side by side and then put a little pea in the corner for the pumpkin ones.
Oh man.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
I ate
salty
it.
about
That's an
that.
awful dirty trick.
It's dirty.
Yeah.
They done you dirty. They did. That's
I mean,
crucial.
I ate 'em
Well,
anyway, but
Yeah.
They did you greasy.
but I bit into it and I was like, this isn't apple at all.
right. How sad. Well,
Was it
anyway,
good?
Yeah, they were good.
they were good.
Okay.
There aren't many bad donuts out there. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I also, just for the record, got some Amish peanut butter cup candies
Oh my
that
God.
were fantastic.
Oh my God. How are you losing weight? I'm
Well,
impressed.
Saturdays are kind of my I don't eat anything except for junk.
Oh.
Cheat day. We'll call
That's
it a cheat day.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
call it that. Yeah.
I mean, I still keep it within my calorie goal. I just don't eat well.
That's that's not a bad plan. My problem is that once I start, once I
It's
give
so
myself carte blanche, I'm off to the races.
Yeah.
Then I just eat until I feel literally like I have sharp pain everywhere
I
in
think
my
it was
torso.
Nick who said it best, that the meal isn't over when you're full. It's over when you can no longer look yourself in the mirror.
That's right.
It's over when you hate yourself.
That's exactly right.
It's never not funny. All right, so moving on to other current events then. So the big news this week is that my former Air Force base that I used to be at is completely destroyed. And
Saw that.
Oh shit! Yeah,
and
I
tens
didn't even
of
think about that.
and tens of thousands of people are displaced. 600 military families or so, or however many it is that used to live on Tyndall, will not be coming back for a while. The house that I used to live in, gone, no roof. So it's it's extraordinary.
Shit, good timing, buddy.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Yeah. So
That's exactly my sentiment. Exactly.
well, it occurred to me too. I did not actually have renter's insurance while I was living there on base. So
Yeah, dude.
Foolish.
Yeah,
I don't-
Like, that's not even an option in Nebraska. Like,
Yeah.
you have to
I'd like
have that shit.
interject on this, if I may. I went not that long ago to Florida specifically to look at a house in that area.
that's true. Yeah, a house which I'm sure is currently underwater.
Yeah, actually, it is. Actually, it did flood. It didn't get destroyed. It's not gone. But from what I understand, there was a 14-foot storm surge in Panacea where I was looking at the house, and anything that wasn't on stilts was underwater.
Yeah, and this
So,
that's exactly why people don't buy real estate in Florida.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just kind of seems like that's it's going to happen at some point. Is your shit's gonna get destroyed?
Well, especially these days. Seems like there's more frequent and more powerful storms, especially over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's only gonna get worse.
Perhaps it's an El Nino year.
Right. Or La Nina, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a climatologist.
So what is going to happen to those military families who lived on base? Now they come home, all their shit is gone. What does the military do for them?
Well, it's complicated, right? Because
I guess you can't just fork up a new house to everybody, right?
it's not
There's
just
lots of
that. I
bases
mean,
everywhere.
the base itself will not reopen for some time. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
truth of the matter. So, in the
They're
meantime,
still getting paid, right, dog?
oh, that's right. No, they'll continue to be paid, but I mean, some of them are racking up tremendous bills at hotels, and it's going to be complicated, and people's lives are going to be changed for the worse. That's the truth of the matter. But the military,
No, we're not there.
the military will take care of the military families. That I know, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be convenient, easy, or pleasant for anybody.
Not to bring up a sore subject, but how'd your old house in Panama City?
I have not heard from my ex-wife, so I don't know. But
It's not bad.
yeah, I
I
looked.
talked to her.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did.
Okay, good. Oh,
She got out.
well, I knew that much. I knew that much,
Yep.
but I haven't heard
Her
it.
neighbor stayed. Her neighbor stayed and said that her house is still in one piece. They had some flooding.
Well, all right then. That house is designed to accept some flooding, though, as it happens.
There you go.
A lot of concrete floors.
Well, smart.
Right. Well, anyway, good. Glad to hear that. That's actually a good news story. And actually, the farther west you were from Tyndall, the better it was.
The better it was.
Yeah. But the farther east, I mean, Mexico City's destroyed. And I will tell you, I nearly bought a home just 3 miles south of Mexico Beach. So I'm glad I didn't do that. Because I would not have.
Yeah, you gotta stay. You gotta not buy houses. I feel like it's your only option if you're gonna buy a house is not to buy one near the ocean. It's gonna get destroyed at some point.
Well,
Yeah, but when it
Well, that depends. I mean, if you're on the West Coast, it probably wouldn't.
I don't know.
True.
I don't know. Then you got the whole earthquake problem.
Well, you do have that.
And you got the fires and shit. Those
mudslides.
You do have
hundreds
that.
of thousands of
I was
acre-wide
actually in
fires.
2 earthquakes. Both times I was visiting Jesse, that I was in an earthquake. One time I was in California and a significant earthquake hit. The other time I was in Hawaii and it shut the airport down for 3 days. It was an 8.5 on the Richter scale and the whole island was under a tsunami watch. The entire 8 days I was there.
Really? What year was that?
2010.
No kidding. I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Well, that's a heartwarming tale.
Yeah, that's got to put a damper on the vacay.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I was on a budget, and I had just gone and bought groceries for the whole week that I was going to be there. And I packed them in, and I was making my last trip down to the car because he lived on the 5th floor. And I was making my last trip down in the elevator, and I went to get on the elevator. Okay, we just put all this food in the fridge. I went to get on the elevator, and the whole island shook, and the power went out. And the door was probably a foot open to the elevator. And if I had been in one more second, I'd been trapped in the elevator for 3 days. And there was people trapped all over the island in elevators.
Ooh, that sounds terrible.
That's a good way to get me to never go in an elevator again. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
That's scary. Glad that didn't happen to you.
Me too. But no, I was not in an earthquake in Australia, but I was in Hawaii and I was in California. But the moral of the story is that I just bought all this food for a whole week and we had no power. And it's 85 degrees in Hawaii. So there was me, Jesse, and John trying to eat a whole week's worth of food.
Before it went bad. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I think you're right, though, Nicholas, that the fact of the matter is that climate change appears to be happening, and as a result, people on or near water, they're going to be facing greater risks to their lives and property, which you will see reflected in home insurance costs. In fact, my home insurance in Colorado for the place I have in Westcliff went up by another $100 this year.
Mine increased significantly as well.
Yep. So insurance rates are going to rise. These costs are all going to be passed down to us, and it's something we're all going to have to keep a lookout for. But in the meantime, heartfelt thoughts, certainly for those who have been impacted by Hurricane Michael. It's a devastating situation that will take years and years and billions of dollars to recover from.
Thoughts and prayers. Now, on an equally dark note, I also heard that the red tide is coming.
Oh, yeah, it's already there.
It actually brought it with it.
Yeah, well, it made it worse. There was a question whether it would make it worse, make it better. It made it worse, apparently. So, yeah, it's like no good news down there right now. But on the bright side, here's the best news.
For people who don't know, what is the red tide?
It's a situation where there's a combination of basically an algae bloom. And this algae bloom, it's a red algae that causes a massive fish kill. And actually, it generates these toxic gases. If you're allergic to it, if you're too close on the beach, it'll kill a human being, too. So
it's much like tear gas, I hear.
Yeah, and so what happens is then you have these, tons and tons of dead animals washing up on shore. Combined with these toxic fumes, it makes the beaches, basically, you can't go to a beach. And, of course...
It smells real good.
Yeah, and in a place that is completely dependent upon the tourism economy, when the beach, you can't go to the beach, you're dead in the water in terms of economic activity as well. So it's a bad deal. It's like a double whammy. But to tell you the truth, there's not a lot of, I can't imagine right now there's a lot of people clamoring to go to the Gulf Coast to spend vacation money right now. I mean, it's destroyed. Who wants to go down there and spend their vacation in a destroyed atmosphere?
No one. On a different note, they could probably get some property pretty cheap down there.
Now's the time to buy. There's never been a better time to buy in Panama City than right now.
Yeah, it's a buyer's market right now, I'm sure.
No question about it. Kind of tough to sell, though. So
Yeah, you got to be a talented real estate agent.
Yeah, demand is weak. All right, so moving on from Hurricane Michael, you heard about the Saudi journalist who went to get some documents. Yes. Mr. Khashoggi went to get some documents from the Saudi embassy in Turkey, and according to the Turkish government, Saudi agents killed and dismembered him right there on the spot.
Yeah, tortured and killed him, and he got the whole torture and murder session recorded on his Apple Watch.
Yeah. Now that's a good reporter.
Yeah, no shit. That you're taking it seriously then, huh?
That's a dedicated reporter when you record your own torture and murder for the public. That's a dedicated journalist.
I'd say so.
You don't typically think of journalism as being a dangerous profession.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Well, anywhere but America. Yeah. Fucking Russian journalists, dude, they get murdered all the time. You just hear about it every day.
I would like to know why.
Suicide. Two gunshots to the back of the head.
Was murdered.
Well, so if I may, as a former journalist, I can tell you that journalism can be a very dangerous profession. In fact, right here in the county next door to us, in Anne Arundel County, there were 5 journalists that were gunned down in Maryland earlier this year as a result of a disgruntled newspaper reader who didn't like what they had written about his domestic violence conviction.
Okay, all right. Well, but to be fair, that kind of seems like, just a fluke type. Like, that happens all the time. You remember that dude came, people say anything. It doesn't even have to be a journalist. You just, a blogger, us, you can say some shit about something that someone doesn't like, and they can get all disgruntled and come and shoot us up.
Well, all right, good point. But nevertheless,
when I say it, I'm talking about like when you cover a story on something that a government official did, and then you just get you're missing.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that happens all the time in Mexico too. Mexico is one of the most dangerous countries in the world for journalists. Russia's dangerous. China.
What did the dude do to get himself killed? That's what Kyler wants to know.
What he did to get himself killed was he wrote unflattering stories about the Saudi government. That's simple. I mean, it's just that simple. And so the Saudi government, rather than tolerating that dissent, silenced it permanently.
Oh, okay.
Not even just silent. They didn't even kill. They did just killing him wasn't enough. They had to torture him too.
Yeah. Well, the ripple effects from that, though, are that does appear to have inflamed the conscience of the world in a way, in ways that which is surprising to me, frankly, because people are getting killed all the time without this degree of outrage. But this seems to have struck a chord internationally.
Well, no one had recorded it and published it on their Apple Watch before.
Well,
that's the difference.
That's the difference, huh?
What I heard about that is that the Saudi government has threatened global economic repercussions if they are faced with any punishment regarding this. To which I say, how are you going to do that? Like, if you're number one, what, are you going to not sell us oil? Are you not going to make money? You can't do that. You know what I mean?
They can, though. They have enough money.
But then what are they going to do?
God.
But then what are they? You can only do that for so long. You can only not sell oil.
Yeah, but you can do it long enough to hurt somebody's economy.
Oh, I'm just saying, like, Dubai is such a fucking crazy city. They have to have a constant flow of money.
Are you talking about Riyadh? Because Dubai is a totally different town.
That's not in
Saudi Arabia? No.
Saudi
Dubai
Arabia?
is not. No, it's in the United Arab Emirates.
Never mind. All right, scratch that. I'm uninformed. All I'm saying is they're not going to, they can't, one country cannot destroy the economy of the entire world.
All I'm saying is that, you say, people
okay,
say,
you know what? Yes,
you can't, and then it happens. And
then
well,
dude, nothing's going to happen.
Well,
say the Saudi government's like, yeah, all right, you know what? There is going to be global economic repercussions. Then what? It's going to be business as usual. You're going to read your newspaper. The world's going to keep turning. We're all still going to go to work and buy shit.
Well, I think most likely the price of oil, the price of gasoline will go up, is what would be my guess.
Yes, that's entirely accurate. So here's what happens if Saudi Arabia decides to, for example, embargo their oil sales to Europe or the United States. What will happen is the price of oil and therefore gasoline will likely double. So you're looking at gas prices in the $4 to $5 a gallon range for a while until U.S. shale producers and Canadian shale producers ramp up their production, which will happen. And ultimately, we are almost energy independent, so we're not as reliant on Saudi Arabia as we used to be. But Europe still is highly reliant on Saudi Arabian oil. And they have enormous proven oil reserves, and they still make up a substantial part of the oil market. So Saudi Arabia by itself could most likely provide a global shock to the economy that could potentially put the entire global economy into recession.
I call it a global bitch slap.
I like it.
By Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a technical term. The global bitch slap.
Yeah, you'll find that in the textbook. We don't bust out the textbook terms that often.
Not often.
We like to keep it intelligent.
Yeah, so this is the second death we've brought up so far on the podcast. Rest in peace, Mr. Khashoggi. And sorry for the loss to your fiance. Hey, we're brought.
And insensitive remarks. Nobody wants to get killed by the Saudi government, so we take it all back.
Yeah, take it all back. Please don't send your spies to Nebraska.
Right, to kill and dismember my son.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah, that was a mistake. Oh,
They can
Jesus.
find out, okay?
Oh,
Jeez.
Jesus.
They got a network of spies.
Yeah.
Everywhere it was.
That's going to be bad. All right, anyway, so much for that. And next up on the topic list in terms of current events, so it turns out that Chief Justice Roberts has referred ethics complaints about new Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh to the 10th Circuit Court, confirming what many believed, that his temperament, as revealed in the hearings on his nomination, was injudicious. So those ethics complaints will be adjudicated, and who knows what will happen, but probably nothing.
Nothing's going to
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Why would anything happen? Tell me.
I'm not still salty about, what was his name?
What, just because people are outraged and...
Yeah, just because
No.
people are outraged.
Yeah, when has that ever changed? Unless it gets ridiculous, unless riots happen, and then like people organize and over years and years fight constant legal battles, nothing happens.
You're right. It does require effort and commitment to affect change in any society. That is true. I mean,
and people are lazy. Americans are lazy. We will bitch and moan, and then when it doesn't happen, you get outraged about it. But
ultimately, not.
Then that's it. Which is, it's fun. It's nice to feel outraged.
it is. It gives you its jolt of.
This is absolutely reprehensible.
Yeah. It actually, it feels good. It does. Gives you a jolt of adrenaline, cortisol. Man, I should get my outrage on.
Get your outrage on, dude. Get angry. About what, you ask? Anything. Whatever you want.
Hulk up.
Hulk up, dude. Hulk out. Get your swole on. Catch some scoliosis.
Right. Become a member of the Swole Patrol. All right. Anyway, so much for current events. Let's move on to...
girlfriend.
That's right. All right. So moving on to popular culture. My family and I went and saw Cage the Elephant last night. What a great show. It exceeded my expectations. Right, and
I really like them.
Oh my gosh!
I've never seen them live.
Oh, I recommend it.
Some bands are better live than they are studio recorded.
Yeah,
sure.
I think they're right on up there. They're certainly as good. The sound quality was excellent. The light show was superb, and the venue that we went to, I can't remember the name of it, but it's in Congress Heights, and it's a brand new venue. It was like the third show ever put on there. Great venue. It seats about 5,000. And it's where the Washington Mystics are going to play. Maybe it seats a few more than that, but the Washington Mystics are going to play there starting next season.
That's a cool team name.
It is.
Mystics.
Yeah, they went to the finals this year, got swept, but nevertheless, they're a female professional basketball
which sporting is this?
team. WNBA.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the venue was awesome. The music was awesome. The performance was terrific. The light show was great, and their lead singer, I'll tell you, just in terms of his energy and his stage presence, he really reminded me of Mick Jagger about 40 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And then, which I was thinking in my head, and then as the show was actually over and we're filing out, they play music afterwards, and they started playing Rolling Stones, which I thought made sense.
How appropriate.
Yes. So anybody see any movies or anything this week?
I was going to go see Venom, but...
ask me next week. That's what we're slated to see on Tuesday.
I see.
I didn't.
Yeah, I got
didn't
it.
go see it.
Bradley gave us a review of Venom last week, as a matter of fact. And the reviews are poor, but the box office is large. So it could be one of those deals where...
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. So when you say the reviews are poor, do you mean Bradley's review is poor, or do you mean overall Rotten Tomatoes reviews are not good?
Overall, Rotten Tomatoes reviews are not good.
But I like Tom
But I
Hardy
like
so
Venom,
much.
and I refuse to believe that shit until I see it.
With
I
my
understand.
own 2 eyes.
I understand. I appreciate your refusal. I do. And yet, the reality
So
is...
you didn't see it. You didn't see Venom.
No,
So,
I haven't seen a
doesn't
movie
Sony
in
own
forever.
Venom? Like, isn't this it isn't part of the larger Marvel universe because of the ownership rights? I'm pretty sure Sony still owns Venom and X-Men.
I don't know.
That's it.
That you're talking about, which universe is Venom in. I have no idea. I don't know.
Spider-Man, man.
Venom is in Spider-Man's universe.
Well, of
That's
course.
all very simple.
That's elementary.
What the complicated part is who owns the rights to which story. So therefore,
who can show up in what?
Yeah, who can show up in what, and if they do show up, they say they do put a Venom in a new Spider-Man movie or in some sort of Avengers capacity, then is it going to be the Tom Hardy Venom? Or is it going to be a whole completely new, different Venom, such that this movie that they just made don't mean dick?
Well, I think it's part of the larger Marvel universe because I think they show the Marvel comic book at the beginning, like they do the Marvel movies.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
They
do that. They do that in every movie. Just flip through the comic book.
Yeah.
They do that at every beginning of every movie.
Yeah, doesn't that mean
Marvel?
Yeah, Marvel still made it, so they still have to.
Well, Marvel Studios is owned by Disney, which is owned by Fox or something. I don't know. It's very complicated.
Nobody really knows for sure.
Right.
The Marvel flip book will say either Marvel Studios or Marvel something else. It might just say Marvel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not.
So, what does that have to do with the quality of the film?
Well, it has everything to do with the. All right, let's say that we not read any reviews, knowing we saw it, but we just assume that it's a good movie. Okay, it's a great movie. Now, if it's owned by Sony but not by Marvel, then that means that Tom Hardy's incarnation of Venom, anything that happened in that movie, it doesn't mean anything.
It's an alternate universe.
They can't
it's canon divergent.
Right, they can't link it in to any of the Avengers stuff.
I see. Yeah,
we all want these superhero movies. Like how they did the Avengers was incredible. It was tremendous. They had
never before been done.
Never before been done. Every hero had their own movie. It was accumulated over 10 years, and then it came to a head with the Infinity War. And it was fantastic. Now everybody wants that. I want to see that more with other superhero movies.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if we can make it happen.
You better be sorry.
Well,
you did this to me. A world where Sony owns Venom and not Marvel Studios.
Well, I'll do my best to rectify that situation. In the meantime, I'll look forward to hearing what you two thought about it versus Brad's internet review. So we'll look forward to hearing your opinions on that. But no other films. Obviously, you just got back from a cruise. How about you, Guy? Did you see anything this week? Guy's no longer with us, I don't think.
Yeah, I am with you. I didn't. Kira called in.
What happened?
Yeah, Kira, your sister Kira, just happened to call me on the.
Oh, no kidding. How's Kira doing?
How you doing, Kira? She's doing well.
Okay, very good. Well, you can check in later after you're done with the call with Kira.
Will do.
Okay, very good. So that, I guess, concludes popular culture for the week because, frankly, I can't remember what else is out there. Hate You Give, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see The Hate You Give. That looks interesting. There's a few films I'd like to see, but I just haven't had time to see a movie in forever.
Sorry about that. I'm back with you. I had to take that call. Just wanted to let you know I did see a movie this week.
You did? What'd you see?
22 July.
Ooh, yeah, the Norwegian massacre film.
Very well done, I thought.
Yes. Ooh, it sounds dark, though.
It was dark, but very good. Kyler and I also watched a show last night called The Kindergarten Teacher with Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Oh, The Kindergarten Teacher. I like Maggie Gyllenhaal. How was it?
Maggie Gyllenhaal's very good.
Yeah, she's real creepy in that one.
She has that capacity. Have you ever seen Secretary with her and James Spader?
No, is it good?
It's a bondage, domination, sadomasochism movie, yeah, in which she is the sub. It's a very good movie, though.
I'm guessing she's Jake Gyllenhaal's sister?
That's correct. They are. They're brother and sister.
Yeah,
that is a pure fact. And both of them.
I think both of them are good actresses. One's a good actor, one's a good actress. I guess that's how you would say it.
Well, these days, they just call actors and actresses actors.
Well, they're good actors then.
Yeah, they sure are. They're really good.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's one of my favorite actors of all time.
Oh, he's great. He's fantastic. Well, all right. So much for pop culture. And now on to sports. And just for your update, Nick, so the Nebraska Corn Shuckers, I watched that game. It was a nationally televised game on ABC.
Yeah, we were. They
managed to snatch victory snatched defeat rather from the jaws of victory. They were up by 10 points with 5 minutes and change left, and then squandered that lead. Yeah, they allowed a 99-yard drive by Northwestern with like a minute and 56 seconds left. Northwestern scored the tying touchdown with 12 seconds left, and then Nebraska threw an interception in the first overtime, and Northwestern kicked a field goal, and that was it. They completed their comeback, and the Cornhuskers now are winless in their, last 9-10 games, stretching back to last season.
Way to go. What was it, Northwestern?
Haven't done this shit since the Great Depression. Yeah, our Messiah, Scott Frost, is not delivering.
Yes, we've covered this ground, but, he's only working with the materials he was presented.
That's true.
Yeah, the Nebraska corn-shucker defense, man, it's poor. It's poor. They need to change. The nickname for that defense has always been black shirts. They need to change it to like rainbow shirts or pink shirts or white shirts or some other color of shirt for sure.
Beige shirts.
Beige shirts, yeah, because they are
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse shirts. Yes, I would go with that. Absolutely.
Chartreuse. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Anyway, their shirts are not getting the job done. In other sporting news, the Houston Astros defeated the Boston Red Sox 7-2 last night in the opening game of the American League Championship Series, and the Milwaukee Brewers and the Los Angeles Dodgers have split the first two games of the National League Championship Series. So the Final Four of the baseball season is on, and it's going to be either the Los Angeles Dodgers versus the Boston Red Sox or Houston Astros, or the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Houston Astros or the Boston Red Sox in the World Series. I personally am rooting for a Brewers-Astros World Series because I just think it sounds cooler.
Okay, yeah. I don't really,
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Sure.
I've been to Miller Stadium a couple of times. It's nice.
All right, there you go. I mean, it'd be good to see a World Series game there, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
I like the Brewers.
And then finally in sports, at least from my point of view, I've been dying to hear you, Nick, and you, Sarah, comment on the defeat of Conor McGregor by Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask if anyone had any, first off, did anybody have any vested interest in that fight here?
You mean like a gambling interest?
No, okay, I say vested interest. Did anyone have any interest at all in this fight here?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all did. Everyone did.
Yeah, Uncle Guy, what did you think of before
we get into it?
Did you like Conor McGregor better or Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Man, that's a tough one. I can only tell you what I like Conor because he's a loudmouth and he's generally entertaining.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but after not having been in the ring in the octagon for 2 years, I didn't think he had much of a chance to win the fight.
Yeah, that's I agree. Here's the thing about Conor McGregor. Okay, he is a loudmouth, all right, and he acts like a jackass before fights because that's how he sells his fights.
Right. He's real good at that psychological game.
He knows how to sell his fights. I know that he's not really a huge jackass like that. You always see him immediately after the fights, he's a good sport, man. He's always hugging them and shit and, smiling. He'll raise their hand and whatnot. Like, it's he's a good sport. He's not
Except
really.
for this fight.
Well,
this was an exception.
Well, even. Dude, at the end, I just read Khabib.
They attacked him, though. I don't think that Conor had any intention to attack the other side. I think that was a stunt on his part to throw the chair at the bus. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that, yeah. Well, that was
fight. I don't think
that was him selling his fight. That was him amping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he had any intention of attacking the other camp. I think that he pushed a little too far and insulted the Chechnyan, and the Chechnyan lost his cool. Is how I feel about that. But
as far as after the fight, when it was a brawl afterwards, that was just because some punk ass kid in Conor McGregor's camp named Dylan Dainies, who has one octagon fight to his name, was talking shit about Khabib Nurmagomedov's father, country, all this. In Russia, he explained it this way. Like, in Russia, there's just certain things you don't say. There's certain things you can't allow someone to say to you in Russia. You know what I mean? That's just how they do it there.
It's honor.
And this kid who has not fought anyone even close to Khabib's caliber, like we don't even know who this guy is. He's going to sit there and talk shit to Khabib. So Khabib can't. And you got to understand, Khabib had just taken down the strongest man in your camp. Everybody else, Conor McGregor's the number one in your camp, and he's laying down here vanquished on the floor, and you're still going to talk shit about, like, my country? That's when, and by then, you know, he was seeing red. He had just fought somebody. So he wasn't listening to nobody. He just hopped off the cage.
Quite frankly, at that point, I don't think that that his camp was doing him any favors, because that was pissing the guy off worse. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, of course.
They didn't follow Conor's sort of template of, you know, accepting defeat gracefully.
And that's why Conor McGregor refused to press charges. Now, if we want to talk about the actual fight itself, I keep saying this, and you know what? I should have just put money on it and thrown my betting slip down at the end of this fight, because I've been saying this since they said Nurmagomedov was going to fight McGregor. Nurmagomedov, literally, and this is not a joke, he wrestled bears as a kid for training. There's videos of him as a child wrestling little bears. Okay, he's been wrestling since he was born. Okay, you can't train for that, especially not after a 2-year hiatus from the octagon. So when that fight was matched up, I said, here's what's going to happen. Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to take Conor McGregor to the ground and choke him out.
And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
In fact, in one of my comments, I even said McGregor will...
Said McGregor will what?
Tap in the fourth.
Oh, you did say McGregor would tap in the fourth. I do recall that.
See,
and that is precisely what happened.
Yeah, we kind of figured that if he didn't get a knockout victory within the first round, it was over for McGregor.
I knew that wasn't going to happen. Khabib's got an iron jaw, and he's got cannons too. He was still bombing on him when they were standing up, and then he just waited for him to throw, ducked under that hook. I will say
that McGregor's the only one to win a round with him in all fights.
McGregor's the only one to win a round with Khabib? That's interesting.
In all 27 of his fights.
Well, that says something about Conor McGregor's toughness. But at the end of the day, you know what he is? He's a loser. Lost that fight.
Well, Conor McGregor, here's how he fights. He controls the pace of a fight. He's got his hands in your face, your hands and shit. So, like, he knows when you're about to throw. He's got good standing up game. That's why he dared to challenge Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match, which of course did not go well for him. But he's good in the cage. He's got a.
That was a deal. That was actually a deal made between and Mayweather. A long time coming. They're friends.
Oh yeah, I know. They're boys, and they made more money off that fight than either one would have made by themselves.
Yeah,
still, though, you saw the fight, though.
It's a calculated scheme, in my opinion. You know, they. You know, I know that a lot of people don't think these fights are fixed or whatnot, but I also picked that. I also picked Conor to go down in the 10th. You know, I picked that one too. I said he'll be out in the 10th. Now I thought he was going to get knocked out, but they threw the towel.
Yeah,
it's still a TKO.
I think the ref called it
TKO.
Yeah.
I'll say this though.
But Conor McGregor is notorious for not having no cardio, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Any fight that he's ever lost, he lost against Nate Diaz. It's because he was tired, he was bloody, he was super tired, so he just shot for him. And Conor McGregor doesn't have any ground game. Nate Diaz saw him shooting for it, and he just wrapped him up, choked him out.
Yeah. So, Sarah, you were going to say something?
If he doesn't finish early, then he doesn't finish.
If he doesn't finish early, he doesn't finish. Yeah, that sounds right.
And he controls the pace of a fight. That's his strength. Because he will make you fight how he wants to fight. But you can't do that against someone like Khabib.
I'll say this.
Yes.
That now that Conor has lost that fight, he might fight Mendez, and I will pay to go see that fight.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
I would love to go see Mendez in McGregor fight.
Well, so think about this for a second. Conor McGregor has made about $200 million for losing the last 2 fights.
Mm-hmm. I'm in the wrong business.
I'm definitely in the wrong business. Wow.
Well, he only had a $3 million purse, but he gets a cut of the paper.
Yeah, well,
he gets cut of the pay-per-view. He's got sponsorships. You know what I mean?
And don't forget the merch table. You know, the merch table
He's got his own brand of whiskey now, too, Irish whiskey.
Does he really?
Proper 12 that I hear is only aged 3 years and tastes like horse urine.
It's probably true, but it's got his name on it.
So I wouldn't know, but
got his name on it. That's the important thing. That's the really important thing.
But in the immortal words of the Highlander,
I'm sure you meant to say there can be but one, but for whatever reason, you've been cutting in and out fairly badly. I'm not sure. It's probably on.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm cutting out, huh?
Yeah, it's probably a fault on my end.
Yeah, it could be.
But that's okay. There can be but one. We know this to be true.
Right.
All right. Well, folks, great show. Great discussion. I forgot to mention that, as always, we're brought to you by Ziff's, a fine dining establishment in Invercargill, New Zealand. They don't know that. But one day they will. They're going to be really pleased that they were, for
that
all
they've
these...
been sponsoring us this whole time.
For free. For free.
For free.
Yeah.
Pro bono.
I mean, we don't know how much traffic we've already driven to Ziff's. We don't know. We have no way of knowing.
There's no way of knowing that.
No, there isn't. Because we're not in touch with Ziff's, because the sponsorship is obviously
So
no-show.
I'm getting by your tone here, your cadence, that you're trying to wrap this up.
Well, we could wrap it up. I guess any other pressing sports matters that you're thinking about?
I don't have any pressing sports matters, but I just got a couple of things here that I want to talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, unload, dude.
Okay. Well, it's just some stuff I've been hearing, or some stuff that I thought about. I just open a memo on my phone. I write it down. I'm like, yeah, let's talk about this on the podcast. First thing I got here is a Greenland shark. Does anybody know what a Greenland shark is?
Well, I imagine it's a
goblin shark.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was a shark that just like patrolled the waters off of Greenland.
It does. It does.
Okay.
That's not the interesting part. Well, it's kind of interesting. It's icy. It's like very close to freezing waters. Most fish can't live there. But the Greenland shark lives anywhere from 250 to 500 years.
Wow. So,
yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it lives. They found the oldest specimen they found. It's anywhere from 350 to 500 years old. They don't know
I
how.
feel like I did hear.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, what do you think it's like for an animal to exist
that
for
long?
350 years? Is
How
it
long-
wise? Does it remember its childhood? Does it know things?
Yeah, I don't know. How long does the collective memory, exist?
well, you got to figure that a
Do they
shark's brain is not like, wired for long-term memory. You got to figure that it's kind of like turned loose and it's fairly just operating more like a robot than it is, the closest analog, I think, is more of a drone than a human being. We tend to anthropomorphize animals, right, to imbue
we
them
do.
with human qualities. But the fact is that, they're filthy animals.
Well, you're right. They are filthy animals, but I think as far as fish go, then yeah, we can't attribute too much
I agree with the
intelligence.
fact that they're filthy animals, but I disagree. I think some animals are Did you know pigs is as smart as dogs?
I did know that.
Smarter.
Did you know that they taste better than dogs? Are you aware of
So
that?
much better.
Oh,
Now
so-
think about this, Dad.
Yeah.
There's a dog out there. There are many dogs, probably thousands of dogs out there that understand Japanese better than you do. Okay? Now, you think they're not intelligent?
No, I don't think they're not intelligent, but a dog is a different animal than a shark.
You're right. You're totally right. Yeah, that's all I was wondering about. What is it like? What is it if you could somehow live to be 250, 300 years old? What would you remember anything?
Yeah, do you think it would be hard to sort through memories? How much would you forget?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question because my goal is to live to be 250 years old, and yet
Get them cybernetics on.
I'm ready
Get
for
them
it, man.
cybernetic augmentations, yo.
I'm ready for that. I will implant anything in my head right now if it would help me remember more. Anything.
Dude, I'm telling you. So they're
That's dangerous.
I-
Don't do that.
I would. Oh,
You would? Are
yeah.
you serious? You would just let somebody put some electronic stuff in your brain?
Oh yeah.
Anything?
Oh yeah. I mean, I would
Yeah,
let
you only
them.
live once as a zombie, maybe. Maybe. You don't know, dude. They're putting shit in your brain.
Yeah, I would let.
You would have thoughts that you think are your own. You don't even realize. Oh, yeah, this seems like a good idea, but really someone else is putting that shit
We're
in
all
your
living
mind.
in a simulation anyway, my dude. What does it matter?
Don't you want it to be a simulation where you control what you do?
Who can say I'm
Do
not?
we control what we do?
Oh, my God. Okay, yeah. All right.
If I could live,
Put the chips in your brain, people.
Listen, if I could live to be 250 years old and have my cognitive abilities intact, I would let somebody implant a Greenland shark in my head.
Okay, that's enough of that. That is making me... Okay. Sorry. Someone keeps texting me. It's vibrating my shit.
Yeah, I understand.
Well,
Guy, what?
Well,
Yeah.
cut out of the podcast, but it's been real and it's been fun.
Oh, you got to cut out. Okay, well.
Yeah, and it's been real fun on top of it.
Well, that's good. Well, it's always great to talk to you, Guy. Thanks so much for showing up on time.
Gee,
What is that supposed to
wow, thanks.
I get some sort of backhanded, off the.
It is. It's just a reality, all right? The
You know
reality.
what?
All right.
You know what? It's
Okay.
actually. You're right.
Okay. Yeah, it's clearly our fault and
Yeah.
not just a miscommunication on everyone's
Well, you know
part.
what I knew when you said 11 o'clock? I'm like, he probably means 10 o'clock our time. But
well,
I'm-
thanks for
But I'm not
communicating
going to
that
say
to
anything
me.
because I do sleep until
Right, right. So you did, and you get completely inconvenienced. Oh, he's gone. Okay. Well, that's
Good.
all right. See you, guy. It was good
Bye,
to have.
guy.
Good to have him with us. All right. So Greenland sharks and cybernetics issue number 1. What else you got?
Okay, so
I did see something on there that said bird war. What is that? what?
Yeah. What is bird war?
I keep it pretty short. So there's in the 60s. It's called the Bird War.
Okay.
There's a movie
Okay.
It's a movie or a book?
It's a movie, and I don't
Okay.
even know if it's from the 60s. It might be from the 70s or 80s. It's an old movie.
Okay.
And it's the premise of the movie. You got to watch the trailer. It's just so ridiculous. But it's that every bird in the world flocks together into one giant army and attacks mankind.
What the fuck?
Well,
That's
it attacks a
terrifying.
town. And I do think that if every single bird, for whatever reason, gained some sort of hive mind and was in one flock, it could take over a town for sure.
Oh, no
I think
question.
If my 9 chickens in the backyard flocked together in a hive mind and decided to kill me, they could.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, but in the trailer, man, they're boarding up in their house. Like this, it's not even called Bird War. It's called The Birds, I think.
Yes, it's called
But in
it's a
trailer,
famous
like-
horror movie. Yeah, The Birds. When you said The Bird War, I thought, boy, this.
Is it Hitchcock?
Yeah, this sure sounds a lot like The Birds. And yeah,
Yeah.
so The Birds.
It's not the Bird War. They just say the. They're like, you better get guns and wipe them off the face of the earth. We gotta prepare. Prepare for what? The Bird War? Yes, the Bird War, the Bird Plague, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny. Anyway, in the trailer, they're hiding from the birds in their house, and this seagull busts through the window, and the guy's like fighting with the seagull real hard, just one single seagull, trying to push it back through the window. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, if one seagull is giving a full-grown man that much trouble, you're done.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a
true.
pretty strong seagull.
What happens when the Eagles come in, when the Vanguard attack squadron?
Oh,
So-
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So,
Yes.
what's the largest number of towns you think
A hive mind of birds could take over?
yeah, all the birds in the world?
Definitely Nebraska.
Like how many
the
eagles?
entirety of
How many
Nebraska.
eagles would it take to kill one man?
Not
One.
many. One. I mean, they have pretty sharp talons. They get you at the throat.
Maybe 2.
Man, you got a problem. But you know what?
Yeah.
You know what
You
birds
distract
don't
them and
have that
kill.
we do? Guns.
What?
We have guns.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very
Well,
effective.
Well, we do, but say there's
I
a
don't have a
flock
gun
of
in my house
there's
right
a
now.
1,000, and you got a pistol. Okay, you're getting however many bullets there are in that gun. You will maybe get that many
A
seagulls.
bullet through a flock of doves.
Right.
I don't know,
Okay.
man. We did pretty good against the passenger pigeons.
Elaborate.
Yeah. I don't.
The passenger
I don't-
the passenger pigeon was a species of bird that we have exterminated in North America through our the fact that we just killed them indiscriminately. Millions and millions and in fact, billions of them. We killed billions
Yeah,
of them.
but they didn't organize.
Yeah. Were they ever in a conglomerated flock?
Well, I guess yes. I mean, the skies were darkened with them.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah. We killed them all.
But did they attack?
Well, no, that's the problem. They never got organized. They never got mad enough, I guess. They were pacifists.
Never got
They
organized.
never found their anger.
Yeah, they never found their anger. Nope, they never did. Well, and now they're dead. So, here's the thing, that the only flaw with your thinking is that there is no more species more vicious than us.
That there's a lot of truth.
No,
to that.
there's oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
We can premeditate things.
Oh man, and do we
We
ever?
We understand the concept of revenge and
Yes.
vengeance.
and grudges.
Not only do we understand it, we invented it. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're the
Yeah,
originators.
We invented that shit, dog.
Right, don't come at me. I mean, yeah, you think that man with the wrestling with the seagull, after we get that seagull out of his house, he's going to kill every seagull he sees. You know?
That one seagull just fucked the entire race of seagulls forever.
That's right. Because
All right.
How dare you.
nothing more powerful than one person with a grudge. Nothing more powerful.
Yeah.
Other than peer pressure. Peer pressure is more powerful. But other than that,
Right.
all right, man.
Right. So next on the list, I got this thing. I learned about this as a TIL on Reddit. There was in Thebes. You know Thebes?
Yeah, ancient Greece. Yeah, or near ancient Greece.
They had in their military, they had a unit comprised entirely of homosexual men, couples.
Yeah.
So the idea was
Sparta.
Well, yeah. The idea was that this unit, it was like a special forces unit, these gay men.
Right.
Because in battle, the one would do everything he could to save the other. You know what I mean? And he wanted to look strong in front of his partner. So they would put them in a special unit. Yeah. So if you can take a man's spear, you can take a man's spear.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. So that being said, it worked, obviously. And they're
still around. They're still strong. Thebes running shit.
Isn't Greece like in big trouble these days? And they're very against homosexual men.
I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't, in terms of Thebes being, around today. But I mean,
it's definitely not.
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, the city still exists, though, right?
It's more of an island, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Not my strong suit.
I'm going to be honest with you. My Greek geography is not. Yeah, it's not. I think it's an island, isn't it?
No, it's one. That is not how you spell it. There you go.
It's Thebes. I know that. Yeah, it's thick as Thebes.
A city in
Galatia? It's an Egyptian city? Was an ancient Egyptian city
Egyptian
east
city.
Of the Nile?
Oh, well, shit. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with Greece. What do I know?
What the fuck?
No, I think there's 2 Thebes, y'all.
Really? Because maybe I'm confusing Thebes with Thessalonica.
Yeah. Thebes is a city in Boeotia, central Greece.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Okay, there must be two different Thebes.
You can never have too many Thebes.
City of Thebes. You make it here, you can make it anywhere.
No doubt about it.
Rival of ancient Athens and sided with the Persians during the invasion under Xerxes.
Yeah, that proved to be a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Thank you, Xerxes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so next thing on the list, I only have a very limited number of things. If humans, this is just some shit I cooked up late at night. I was just thinking about this.
Yeah.
If humans went extinct, all human life was wiped off the face of the earth, just like in one mass thing.
Like a comet or something.
Yeah, like 1 second. But the earth was still, and its resources were still mainly intact.
Okay.
What species, and let's say primates are taken out of this too. I don't want it to be too easy. What species is going to rise up next and take over the earth?
That's easy.
Be dominant on Earth.
That's easy. Raccoons. They've got opposable thumbs. So
interesting.
yeah.
I was going to say bears.
Very quick. Okay.
But I mean, raccoons are technically. Oh no. Pandas. Pandas are raccoons.
Yeah. I mean, so pandas and raccoons would band together and rule the earth. In fact, there was a science fiction story not long ago about. I say not long ago that I read at some point in my life. All right, so I can't remember the premise, but the story ends with a group of raccoons on Jupiter developing their own sentient life.
Thanks, Rocket.
Right?
Raccoons on Jupiter. Okay.
Well, on a moon of Jupiter, like Ganymede or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Raccoons on Titan. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it would be octopi.
That's interesting. Yeah, they're already pretty damn smart.
They are very smart. They're the smartest thing in the ocean.
Really?
It's been,
They give us a run for our money.
It's been stated that, obviously there's no scientific way to prove this, but I've heard scientists say that if it weren't for humans, octopi would be running the show.
Well, I've also heard it said that there appears to be no precursor to octopi, and so they might actually be a sample of alien life.
I've heard that they just the way they can change their RNA. Something no other creature except cuttlefish, which are cousins of octopi, can do. They can change their genetic makeup on the spot at will, which is something nothing else on the planet can do that we know of so far. Could be some other crazy shit way down in the ocean.
God damn, the ocean is terrifying.
But it suggests that it's just as likely for them to have come here as some sort of algae on a comet than it was for them to just form
Yeah.
from the primordial ooze.
Although that being said, I mean, if a cuttlefish can do it, that does suggest that, you know, it was something.
Well, they're
developed.
related.
Well, if they're related, then how in the world could they be alien?
Well,
because they could breed with something else.
Oh, I see. I got it. Yeah.
If they came over as algae, then two descendants
I see.
from the same.
So the relationship between the octopi and the cuttlefish would be much like the relationship between us and other lesser primates.
That's right.
I see.
Dolphins.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I think maybe the raccoons, pandas, and octopi would find common cause.
Yeah, maybe they would.
Land versus sea.
Yeah, there would be like a sea empire of the octopi, and then the raccoons and the pandas would be on Jupiter and shit.
Right, and they would work together for peace and love across the galaxy.
Peace and love, and to exterminate any last pockets of human resistance.
This could be a very, 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 very bad movie.
Hey,
You could write a book about it and then just not say that by like hunting humans until like the end.
How fucked up though would it be that so that whatever satellite we sent out with all of our the record with our music and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some alien found that, decided to come to Earth, and it's ruled by fucking raccoons and octopi. They're like, did we arrive at the wrong destination?
I think we might have come a few million light years.
Yeah.
I think we took a wrong turn.
Yeah.
I think these people didn't know how galactic coordinates worked.
Yeah.
Light years isn't a unit of time, though, is it?
No, it's
a unit
not.
of space, right?
It's a unit of distance, like a
Distance.
parsec, for example. So yeah.
Is a parsec a legit thing, or is that just a Star Trek term?
No, it's another unit of distance. So when somebody says I made the Kessel Run in so and so parsecs, it's like that doesn't even make any damn sense.
Like I made it in 44
I like
feet.
that they made it make sense though. That was kind of fun in the Solo movie.
Yeah, they did whatever they did.
I didn't see the Solo movie.
What?
No, never saw it. Pissed me off, dude.
That's pretty good,
bro. In the series of Star Wars, you got people who can shoot lightning out of their fingers, move shit with their minds. They got lightsabers that can deflect blaster bolts, and you're gonna give me a movie about a dirty smuggler with none of that shit? I want a Darth Vader movie.
I do.
There is no Darth. Like you only in one time in this entire franchise have you ever seen Darth Vader go in and be scary like Darth Vader? That's at the end of Rogue One where he slays all those dudes. That's the only time you ever see any shit like that. I want to see him go hunt Jedi. I want to see him crash land on planets and take them over and shit.
Okay.
I don't want to see Han Solo smuggle drugs across the galaxy. It's whack.
Well, so you didn't see it. You exercised your power as a consumer, and you chose not to. Good for you.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong for preferring a Vader movie over a...
No, you're not wrong.
How could you possibly think that Han Solo is cooler than Darth fucking Vader? Come on.
Well, I mean, let's face it.
Han Solo drinks and shoots people in bars, okay? Darth Vader chokes people across TV.
Thing is that Han Solo is vaguely good, and people will take vaguely good over outright bad.
No, but there's a conflict within Darth Vader. He only turned that way because, he wanted to protect the ones he loved, and
then he didn't.
And Palpatine took advantage of that and twisted his mind and all that shit. It's not like he's outright evil, although he did kill a temple full of children.
Dude, how do you think? Like, okay, if they're, I was reading some fan fiction. I was reading fan fiction.
Okay.
Some Star Wars fan fiction, and like if they're all connected and shit, can you imagine the psychic fucking backlash from killing all of those Jedi in a holy place where he?
That's what happened. That's what happened to Yoda. You remember Yoda was cheek and shit, and like he just felt all the Jedi die at once.
Yeah. My point is how the hell could Anakin go through with it?
He turned his mind to the dark side. His eyes were completely yellow.
Yeah, the power of the dark side filled him.
Shielded.
Yeah, and much anger I sensed in this
all the anguish, all the screams, all the...
Yeah, it all fueled his dark rage. And the rest is history.
Anakin is my favorite.
The rest is fake history. Star Wars history. The rest is canon.
Anakin is your favorite Star Wars character?
Anakin
Why
or
do
Darth?
You say that like you're judging me.
Yes. Anakin or Darth Vader or both?
Both. The duality of him.
The duality, the duplicitous edge.
Yes,
He's
indeed.
definitely more interesting than Luke.
Oh, yeah,
Luke's weak.
Luke's milk toast. He's just he's all good. He's all good. Yeah, no,
it's all good, baby.
But you're onto something there, Sarah, because it's the ambiguous nature of Han Solo that makes him so compelling as a character. And it's also the ambiguous and dual nature, the duality, if you will, of Anakin/Darth Vader that makes him so fascinating and compelling. And as you note,
and
Nick,
the power.
And the lightsaber. And the outright evil.
And the fact that he's basically Force Jesus.
Well, I get it, dude. I get that what Han Solo's whole... He's a cool guy. He's in the smoky bar and shit. He'll get you where you need to go. He's got the connections. He knows a guy, all right? He's good with the pistol.
And he's handsome.
The duels, all right?
And he's handsome.
Space Cowboys, man.
Space Cowboy. Fucking, I get it, all right? It's cool. And like, if you would have just made that, like, same actor, same premise, just not in the Star Wars universe,
then I would have
about better.
Yeah, you'd have been interested.
Make a whole Star Wars movie, and it's not gonna be about Darth. Give me Darth Vader. I had fucking enough of Han Solo.
Okay,
all right.
So
damn it.
If they make a Darth Vader movie, will you then go back and watch Solo?
Maybe. Yeah.
All right.
I will off principle.
All right. Very good. Well, that's something that we can all look forward to after we all look at the Darth Vader movie.
It better happen.
Yeah,
it's never gonna happen.
We can watch it as a family.
I didn't think they'd ever make a Black Widow, and they're slated to.
Well, that's like that's some shit you can't really fuck up. I feel like
Darth
Vader movie.
Yeah, you can, dude. Have you seen some of the movies that come out? You can screw up anything. You can.
Right.
Okay, what makes you say that?
Oh no.
What specific movie?
Well, I'm thinking about a film called The Master. It had great actors. No, nobody.
Jesus.
All right. Anyway.
You want to know what was wrong with The Master, buddy?
Yeah, a lot.
No Darth Vader. If Darth Vader had been in that movie.
You're right. Who knows what would have happened if Darth Vader had been in that movie? Would have been a whole different movie, obviously.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. Name me a movie where Darth Vader couldn't make it better.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm thinking.
Schindler's List.
You're right.
I'm joking. These are the jokes.
Yes. No, that's, yeah. All right. Well, good talk. I'm glad we got everything that was on your list out. Or is there more?
No, that's...
Well, I will say this.
Yeah.
I watched Bellator fights last night.
Oh,
Normally,
yeah.
I just watched UFC.
Right.
Bellator's good.
Yeah, it was a new interesting take because, again, normally I just watch UFC.
Well, UFC fucks its fighters sometimes.
Big John McCarthy isn't reffing anymore?
Yeah, he's
a commentator for Bellator.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Which is cool, but I miss Big John. No wonder I haven't seen him in the fucking ring.
That happened like a
while ago.
Yeah. Couple months.
Well, I don't watch Bellator.
Well, you should watch Bellator because when UFC fucks its fighters and doesn't pay them, they go to Bellator.
Well, Bellator, it sounds like, might give UFC a run for its money at some point then.
Oh, it already does. And Bellator's it's just on TV, too.
Yeah, it's not this pay-per-view bullshit.
And it's not all pay-per-view.
Except I don't have TV, so that makes it still difficult for me to watch it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Fedor
Emelianenko.
Yes, fought some American gangster white boy who looked like Simon from SNL. I think it's Simon. I can do it. Let me do it.
You're talking about Mad TV, and it's Stewart.
Stewart, yes.
Stewart.
Let me do it. Yeah. Anyway, this American gangster. What the hell is his name?
Chael Sonnen.
Chael. Yeah, looked like that.
Yeah.
Got his ass whipped.
You know why? Because he fought a Russian dude. Fedor. People don't understand that these Russian fighters aren't like. They've been fighting since they were born. They came out, someone handed them a broken bottle and shit and just threw them into a bar as soon as they were born. That's what Russian people do. Okay?
Yeah,
They fight because they have to. Like, it's insane. It's not cool, but that's what you get. Like, you fight these Russian fighters. They're talking all this shit, all these American fighters or Irish fighters, whatever the hell they are. They don't have the proper respect.
Yeah.
I will say this, though.
Yes.
Well, he did. I mean, he was very graceful about it in the...
Who, Chael Sonnen?
On the poster.
Afterwards, yeah. After he got his fucking teeth smashed in. Yeah. I know how Chael Sonnen does. He talks a lot of shit.
Yeah, he did.
Well, at the end of the day, though, you mess with the Russian, you get the bears and the claws and the teeth.
That's damn right.
Yeah.
In the right hook, quite frankly.
But
Russian dudes and Brazilian dudes, them motherfuckers are just nasty.
They're tough.
And Puerto Ricans, too.
And Americans. I mean, to tell you the truth, it's really not a racial thing or even a national origin thing. Some guys are just tough.
Well, no, it's not a racial thing, but it is, like, I feel like certain cultures have fighting ingrained into their society more than Americans.
I don't know, man. We're a contentious. Well, yeah, you're right. We typically fight.
We are, but dude, like
we fight through lawyers.
Khabib Nurmagomedov is an excellent example. Just Dagestan, dog. Look up what's going on there. Like, you know, they fight because what is this?
Yeah,
I got
you.
Playing here.
This is a nonagon.
Well, I'm just gonna say this that I appreciate the recommendation for Bellator because otherwise I would simply not. I'd never look at it.
Dude, yeah. It's on, what is it on? FX?
I don't know. I don't have cable. I go to Bubba's house and it shows up on.
Got it.
It's on, yeah, that's a quick Google. That's a quick Google. But,
easy to find out where it is. So,
yeah, dude, you should, I would strongly recommend watching fights, dude.
Well,
it's like the best sport to watch.
Well, of course I like watching fights, but I thought Bellator, it's like a weak sister to UFC. But if that's
what UFC wants you to think.
Well, I'm not gonna buy that hype anymore. No.
Watch Bellator. Lyoto Machida fights in Bellator. Shit. Lyoto Machida's the dragon. He's the dude who got me into UFC.
Watching it, not actually fighting in it.
No, of course not.
Got it. All right. Well, that's good advice. And I'm not trying to hurry you along, but this podcast will end up being the longest one that we've done yet.
We were gone 2 weeks. What do you want?
Yeah, we got a lot of shit to talk about.
That's true. We got a lot to unload on. Anything else?
A lot to unpack. No, that's it. That's, I've been wanting to get through my little list here these last couple of.
That'll be all the things.
Now we've done it.
All right.
Drive through to the window now, right?
Yes. Now drive through to the window and accept your check for nothing.
Accept your check for $0.
Right. Yes. And some adhesive medical strips.
Adhesive medical strips.
I'm sure that's a callback to some cartoon. I don't know which one.
Invader Zim.
Invader Zim. That's right. All right. Well, next week we'll talk about some more stuff. And until then. A Shinn Show. A Shinn Show. A Shinn Show.
A Shinn Show.
Oh, man, you took it out. Good job, kids.
Yay.